it's actually been a really great process for all of us sitting around as actors to really dig into what Shaw is saying, but ask ourselves, how would we say that now? And in that we've been finding out an awful lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually think he's remarkably brave to have attacked that subject in 1893, and I'm not surprised it was banned.
Yeah, I've been surprised at how well the text has translated. That feeling of oppression and having pathways closed to you is still so relevant, but in different ways.
I guess the biggest change is the introduction of
It's me.
of Liz.
Yeah,
as
so
a character.
Yeah.
Liz,
So Liz doesn't exist in the original script. She is a person who's mentioned as the sister of Mrs. Warren.
And a great influence on
Yes,
me.
yes.
An amazing influence on me. That's, I think, one of the best things is that we have this modern voice in the piece. I think that will be really, really interesting for our audience.
Yeah, and for me coming into it, I felt it was very important that could be a fully fleshed out character, not just kind of, and here's our prostitute.
Yes.
Yes.
That Liz could be a part of the show and a part of the cast. And
We ran the first 2 acts. We sort of stumbled through them based on the work we've done the last few days. And they really clip along at a pace. And it's extremely naturalist, and it's just roaring along, and then suddenly it's just like, and Liz comes in. And the world sort of mutates around the characters.
Yeah, it's like suddenly the telescope kind of zooms in on something and magnifies it.
That's right.
And everything gets this new layer of meaning and it's been very exciting.
Yeah.
Because inherently it's the same story, isn't it? You know, whether it's you now in 2018 or Mrs. Warren in 1893, it's the same. The same experiences happen to women time and time again. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see with the Me Too New Zealand, who had something like 250 cases in the first week come through. We're going to see just how many workplaces have been, completely unfriendly and alienating to women workers.
It can't just be a push from women or other marginalized people pushing for their own rights. You have to say, this is something that's good for everyone, so we're all going to work towards it.
Yeah, and I think also part of the workplace thing is not just relegating harassment to major incidents of assault or lewd, offensive comments. I would encourage people to think about the micro interactions they have every day. Who are you calling sweetheart? I bet you're not calling your male colleague sweetheart.
Yeah.
Who are you asking to make the tea? Who are you making comments about how they look? All that stuff builds to a culture. And until we're willing to accept that actually one by one those incidents might be harmful, we're not going to see large scale change. I also agree with everything that everyone else said.